didn't those 6 female jurors hear, and why?
The judge excluded a number of negative personal items about Trayvon Martin.
For a year, the defense team desperately wanted the jury to see what it called 17-year-old Trayvon Martin's checkered past, like those 3 school suspensions, including one for having been caught with traces of pot, and another for allegedly having burglary tools in his backpack. There's this video Martin shot himself, the only available sample of his voice, laughing as homeless men fight over a bike. Then there are these photos from his cell phone, Martin giving the finger, marijuana plants, blowing smoke. But the judge said, no dice.
The only reason to introduce that picture would have been to smear Trayvon Martin, and that's not what this case is about.
What is the most important piece of evidence you think they didn't hear?
Well, I think that they had the right to hear about Trayvon Martin's past that was shown as far as him fighting.
Zimmerman's defense attorney, Mark O'Mara, is talking about text messages in which Martin boasts he could knock a man down with a single punch. I lost the first round, but won the second and third, he wrote. I'm not done with this fool. He's gonna have to see me again. But Zimmerman had skeletons in his closet, too. Eventually, prosecutors would lose their bid to introduce a prior accusation of domestic violence. And then there's a 2005 arrest for allegedly assaulting a police officer. That charge was ultimately dropped. And remember that explosive 911 call with those blood-curdling screams?
So you think he's yelling help?
Yes.
All right, what is your phone number?
So much was made of that 911 call. The screams. Who was screaming? Why was that so important?
Well, I think for both sides, that case was important because I think that if that was a definitive answer, then that would tell us what happened.
But the judge barred the prosecution from calling 2 audio experts who would have testified they believed those desperate cries for help came from Martin.
The judge ruled that the science was too unreliable. It definitely would have helped prosecutors to have experts, not just family members, but experts who could say, I believe very strongly that that's Trayvon Martin's voice on that tape.
Say for those 2 days of testimony when Rachel Jontel's choice of words was picked apart by the defense, the specter of race was rarely raised.
You don't think that creepy ass cracker is a racial comment?
No.
For jury members, that was all just an unspoken whisper until the prosecution's closing argument.
When you profile somebody incorrectly, when you automatically label him a criminal because he's acting in your mind, and in his mind, excuse me, as suspicious because he's wearing a hoodie.
But banned from the courtroom was the actual phrase, racial profiling.
There's no question that there's an undercurrent of race and that these jurors are very familiar with the fact that the prosecution believes Trayvon Martin was targeted because he was black.
In the end, none of Zimmerman's sideshows played a part in determining the outcome of this case because as far as the jury was concerned, they didn't exist.